Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest, Ruthie, Love Mother, Augusta Fisher Smallshaw's Letters to Her Daughter, 1946 to 1948, Part 3. This was originally published as Smallshaw Family Memories Collection, or SFMC number 104, our last SFMC published on November 3rd, 2005. 1251 Argyle Street, Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, April 7th, 1946. My darling, did I ever feel terrible to think you were sick all those days and by yourself for so many hours through the day? It was lovely to see your writing on the envelope yesterday afternoon when the mail came. I knew right away that you must be feeling better. I wish that Marion had phoned me Monday evening or Tuesday. I would have taken the next plane or train up. You really should not have been all by yourself. I suppose the hospital was full as they are here. My heart just sank within me when I read Marion's letter on Friday. I was just leaving for downtown to post the part I had written in the morning, so put the other part in. On the streetcar, I sat beside Mrs. Sanderson, who I used to play bridge with, and I told her how worried I was about you and felt like flying up, that you were subject to mastoid. She said, "Yes, but we have the wonderful sulfa drug now, and I'm sure that will help." How very comforting when the doctor told you that you never need to have another mastoid operation. Tell Marion I'm so thankful for all her goodness to you. Also Don with all the fruit and the big candy thing. It sounded good, but not so good for your cold. Poor Ian, I am glad that he is feeling better. I suppose he brought you what he likes best. How is the man upstairs? Okay by now, I hope. I do so hope you don't go back to school too soon. So many people do, and it is a mistake. One more day's rest sometimes makes so much difference. Really feel cross with that Mrs. Hogg for making my darling cry. She had no business bothering you for rent when you were so sick, and then her old cushion. Glad she apologized, though, and gave you the $5 back. Swell of Don to see you off on the plane. Is Marion coming home for Easter? I was feeling pretty pink on Friday and could hardly sit up to play bridge. Saturday I was worse, and today I could not make it to teach my Sunday school class. I missed a month, so suppose it is the change starting. I asked Mrs. Jelly to phone you as she got her pass to go up yesterday. She said she surely would and wanted me to come with her. Glad I didn't, as I'm quite bad today. Hope I am okay to wash tomorrow. Bud is fighting his cold quite wonderfully. He went to band practice Friday evening, painted out the front clothes closet for me yesterday, and as Howard Rilke had a birthday, 17, so Irene arranged a surprise party at their house for a while, the early part of the evening, and then call in on Rilke's on some pretext before going to a show. Then, of course, all the kids were there. Howard smelled a rat, though, because when he first came in, he said, "Mrs. Smallshaw, do you know if there's going to be a party anywhere tonight?" Bud had told me, so I had to lie and hated to. So when he called for Bud to go in the choir this morning, he said, "Mrs. Smallshaw, you lied to me last night." I said, "Yes, you bad boy, for asking me a straight question like that. Who am I to spoil a surprise party?" His mom and dad got him a nice wristwatch, and the boys got him two big boxes of cigarettes. Bad boys. They had a lovely evening, I believe. His mom made him a birthday cake. Last evening I got my Sunday school lesson up, hoping I could go. Went to bed early, but couldn't make it this morning. Bud had his party and got in at 12:30, he said. Pop likes his days working and had his typo union meeting last night. Got in at 5 o'clock this morning, so quite a long meeting. We had quite a fall of snow here during the night, but the sun is shining lovely here today, and I hope it stays that way. I do so hope you are improving, my darling, and that we have a lovely holiday at Easter, and you go back feeling better. Take good care of yourself, and I'll be waiting for the plane to come in. I do love you, honey. Thought it cute about the butcher sending you 2 slices of ham. It is good, too. Pop got me a bottle of sherry wine. I treated Howard and Bud to a glass last evening. We drank to Howard's birthday. I hope to save some for you in 2 weeks. Mrs. Jelly said that Merle may get married this July. Johnny gets 2 weeks holiday and wants to go to the coast with Merle for a honeymoon. I'm looking for a letter. Love, Mom. 1251 Argyle Street, Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, September 18th, 1948. Darling Ruthie, so grand to get your letter this morning, and I am a bit worried about your living problems. I do so hope you can get something suitable. I will pray for you, dear. So nice to have Dale there. Monday is your birthday, and we will be thinking of you all day. Many, many very happy returns, dear. Get something from me to you with those few dollars. I forwarded some letters to you yesterday. Hope you get them okay. I saw this in last night's newspaper about Mildred Bowler. It's a funny way to get married after living in Regina all her life, I thought. The sun is still shining here, but dry and dusty. I love the sun. I got a cute little letter from Bud this morning and will send it on to you. I played bridge last night and got a high score of 7,700. Mrs. Plaster was next high. Mrs. Jelly told me she has a chance to sell her house and wants me to write Estevan regarding a suite. Johnny has started classes in Saskatoon, but only has a room, no suite for Merle and the baby. Mrs. Jelly said she would take Merle and the baby to Estevan with her, if she can get a suite down there. I felt very well blessed this morning. A letter from both you and Bud. My precious jewels. Pop worked overtime twice last week, and for me, what? The Plasters are coming for bridge tonight. I must make a cake. I have my Sunday school lesson up, and it is on baptism, wherein we are made a child of God, a member of Christ, and an inheritor of the kingdom of heaven. I hope I have a nice class that are not too hard to make behave. I can get mad, but don't like to have to. Oh well. Life is a problem, and not supposed to be too easy. Trees grow strong at the roots by heavy winds. Take care of yourself, and many, many happy returns on Monday. Love, Mom. 1251 Argyle Street, Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, September 30th, 1948. Dearest Ruth, it was grand to get your little letter this morning, also one from Bud, which I will enclose when Pop has been home and read it. I got quite a kick out of reading it. He sounds like he will be quite the family man. I hope he marries a nice girl. I think Crisp must think you are pretty nice to want to travel 7 hours on the train and back to sit and wait for you to do homework. Really must think you are okay, honey. How old is your youngest pupil and the oldest? The only diapers I ever put on were yours and Bud's, so you will have experience for your own family. Cheer up, honey. All us humans start this vale of tears wearing diapers, and the most helpless of all animals starting life. I'm so glad you are reading your Bible, dear. It should be the most important of every Christian's life. Our Friday afternoon Bible study classes have started, and I look forward so much to the knowledge we get and inspiration. Read Psalm 19. We are memorizing verses 7 to 11. Also read Psalm 84. We were asked to read Exodus 20, chapter 12, Personal Conduct. I can give you some more, but enough for now. I am not surprised that some of those kids are quote-unquote red. The injustice in the world is terrific, but politics alone won't change it. These surely are the latter days, and old Nick's days are getting fewer, coming to an end. Do you enjoy or find interesting the study of the anatomy of the throat? I should think it interesting. Hope you like it as you plan on majoring in speech, don't you? Tomorrow is Uncle Alfred's birthday, so phone him for me and say happy returns from Gus. I have lost his address. I will write more later. It's cold here, 25 degrees last night. Love, Mom. 1251 Argyle Street, Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, September 17th, 1948. My dearest Ruth, was it ever grand to get your letter this morning from Cleveland? You had a nice visit with Ruth, and I phoned Mrs. Nilsson and told her. She seemed pleased. It must have been nice to see Crisp after all strangers for days. Swell of him to take you to such a nice nightclub. I have just phoned Mrs. Crowther and told her about the wonderful little girl of 3 with such a vocabulary. Said she felt like flying to Cleveland. Hope you get voted into Dale's boarding house and will be anxious to hear. I am forwarding your mail, a real nice letter from Mr. Rainey, I thought. I did not go to Sunday school Sunday morning, but Mavis brought back my teacher's manual. I went to church Sunday evening but felt awful. Feel better now and so glad you did not. I'm going to make the first monthly payment on the refrigerator today and glad to go out as the house is chilly and it's warm outside. I like Dale so much and so glad you are with her. Tell me all about it. Nice it is, warm enough for your mauve dress and white sweater. I wonder how cold it gets in Cleveland. Take care of yourself. Love, Mother. 1251 Argyle Street, Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, October 16th, 1948. Dearest Ruth, I have been going to write to you all week, and know it is a week last night since I posted a letter to you. We have enjoyed your letters so much. Yes, you will be kept busy writing Wade to keep him posted as to your change of address. What does he think about it all? Yes, Ruth, you are right about the girl being a nude model. Not very many would do such a thing for a living, except those too lazy to work, but I suppose it takes all kinds to make a world. I am readdressing a letter to you from Hospital Services Corporation, Jacksonville, Florida. Have seen Marion about 3 times since you left. She said she was hired to teach 33 children and now has 53. Seemed rather disgusted. Bud came home Saturday before Thanksgiving in time for supper and left Tuesday on the train. He took a sleeper, was disgusted because he could only get an epit. It was quite the man's weekend here as they had the radio full blast for the World Series baseball games, and then the Rough Riders were on playing rugby on the Monday. Sunday after Sunday school, I stuffed and cooked a 5-pound grade A chicken, and it was excellent. A lovely day here, so warm, but Rose was in the middle of making Christmas cake. The chicken smelled so good I thought I would give Rose a ring to come over. So I phoned Marion. Jack and her were invited to a Mrs. Somebody's just a half hour previously. Connie did not show up to teach her class last Sunday morning, so Dorothy Everett and I took her class. I expect Connie went to Saskatoon for the weekend. I took her bonds out of the bank, and Pop put them in his deposit box. You have won $100, 3 $50, and 1 $5 savings certificate. Please don't go out with Michael, dear, if he is a Roman Catholic. People grow on us in spite of ourselves, and I don't want you to get fond of a Roman Catholic. It does not make for happiness. He seems attracted to you. I got a nice letter from Jean. She is back at her old job. Mrs. Jelly went to Saskatoon with Merle and the baby. He just said over the radio that it is 11 degrees below zero, but will be warmer next week, so expect you will be getting this cold air in a few days. It seems to blow across the continent. I feel the hero today. I cleaned all the windows on the outside of the home and all the storm windows on both sides and polished them. Took most of the day, and I am very tired as per usual. Pop came home today, Saturday at noon, with a box of chocolates, a carton of cake, and a box of apples. Mako on the way. Wish I could treat you to some of each. Bud said, "Is Ruth coming home for Christmas?" I told him I was not sure, and he said he thought you should. Pop thought you should visit Christine, Pat, and Mrs. West. Pop was talking of going to Estevan for Thanksgiving, but did not want to miss Bud. Love, Mom. 1251 Argyle Street, Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, October 22, 1948. Dearest Ruth, so grand to get your nice long letter yesterday. I love to hear about your doings and in detail too. You sound like a very busy and happy girl, dear, but do take care of yourself, and especially of that cold. You know you can't afford to neglect a cold. I always think that time spent in bed sick is lifetime wasted. I awoke the other morning about 4 o'clock a.m., thinking first, how is Ruth and that cold she has? So you see I had you on my mind. Getting overtired is the easiest way to catch a cold, I think. Mrs. Plaster has a bad cold and is playing bridge with us tonight at Mrs. Durlock's home and has invited Pop and I over tomorrow night. I would rather not go. It seems so silly to run into a house full of colds. I usually take one. I do so hope you are feeling better. Don't bother about shopping for me, dear, but I appreciate your thoughtfulness. It's sweet of you, and I'm so glad you got a cute dress for yourself. Yes, we are all here. Bud is home, rooting for the Cleveland Indians to win that game on Thanksgiving Day. Hoping you were there and marveling at the welcome they gave them. We felt we had a personal interest, you being there. That is all history now. So thrilled, dear, about you being able to go to the Theater Guild on the air. Really something to remember all your life. I am going to put that program in your album diary. I was looking through it, and you have some interesting things in it. Bob Hope would be in his glory. I would like to see him in person and some of the others. Mary Martin sounds scintillating. So glad you like Cleveland, dear. Did you ever write and tell Crisp you were sorry? You really owe him an apology, I think. So did Pop. Don't go out with Mike, if he's Roman Catholic, any more, dear. Just piling up heartaches for both of you. I can hear you say that it is none of my business, but dear, he is attracted to you, and I have seen so much unhappiness, though Roman Catholics and Protestants. There are lots of nice Protestant boys in this old, wonderful world of ours. I saw tears well up in Pop's eyes when he read where you found a little Episcopal church by intuition. It must have felt funny. I am so comforted that you go to church, really the most important part of our lives, to follow God's holy will and commandments. Bud went to church in Saskatoon last Sunday, and I am so thankful. He really is a good kid, and I try to help him to keep to his Christian teaching after I have passed on. Of course, I may live to be 100, but don't expect to. I am getting there. So sorry that some of your letters got sent back. She might have kept them a little longer. Connie went to Melville for the weekend. She got a chance of a ride there. She went up the front altar last Sunday and accepted as treasurer for St. Peter's Senior AYPA and teaching Sunday school. So good for Connie. I will send your belt and petticoat along. Guess I'd better iron the petticoat and slip. I must pack up a few things and send to Bud. He bathed and left a change which I have washed, socks, and so forth, must take them down and post to him. I have sent 3 parcels to England, £7 to Mrs. York at $1.15 for just postage. Food is quite heavy. I hope they appreciate it. My, your party and Halloween decorations sound lovely, and so glad you had such a good time doing the decorating. It really appeals to your artistic mind. Don't let too many things take you from your varsity work. How are you getting along with ideas for illustrating your book on primary deaf work? Sounds interesting. Uncle Lloyd drove up to Regina last Sunday and brought a load of girls to sing in the Dante Hall with the Kingsters, Estevan Girl Chorus, 20 of them, and Cousin Shirley accompanied them. Some of them came up here for a visit. Shirley is a lovely kid and seems so interested in your paintings. I have. Pop, Connie, and Joyce's portraits here. She thought the one of Jean very good, too. Oh, I got a nice letter from Jean, and she is back working in the store in Wigan, Lancaster, England. Got a nice letter from Grandma this morning, and says she has written to you. She was so glad you sent her birthday greetings. It seems that Christina has had quite a picnic with her 3 boys and the measles. Don Sillers went to North Yoke to meet Marnie and is quite upset as he can't get a place to live in Regina. Lloyd said for Marnie to stay in Estevan until they could get a place. They are both down east, I understand. Elsie and Joan went from Swift Crescent to Estevan for Thanksgiving. Mrs. Hay just phoned me. We are cleaning brasses this week. How do you like St. Peter's Harvest Festival letter? I thought it rather good. I do so hope your cold is all gone by now, and do take care of yourself. Get enough sleep. It's very important. How do you like the meals at the boys' house? I love you, Mother. 1251 Argyle Street, Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, October 8th, 1948. Dearest Ruth, it was really grand to get your letter yesterday, dear, and so glad that you are liking Cleveland. I listen to the radio every day to the World Series and feel I have a personal interest in the Cleveland Indians, so of course I'm rooting for them. I felt just awfully sorry for poor Crisp and feel you owe him a real big apology. I think I will write to him myself and apologize on your behalf. I think you should have either included him in the party, excused yourself from the party, or got him to come Saturday instead of Sunday. Just put yourself in his place. On the train all day and then to be in the hotel alone all evening. I don't blame him for being hurt. Of course, I don't know him at all, but his letter sounds like he is very nice. I went to the Chancel Guild last evening. Mrs. George was there and said that they are moving the house in from the farm 100 miles away and building beside Mrs. Randall. They have a buyer for the one they are living in already. Winnie wants to sell her a possum fur coat and is going to buy a fur cape. Sounds interesting. She is teaching economics daytimes and sewing in the evenings. She likes Toronto. It's nice that Connie is going out with the boy from here. Mrs. G said last night that she had to leave Teddy with neighbors. Connie was going out and looked rather cross about it. Yes, I often run into Marion, and she is disgusted at her large class, 52 now, I think she said. Pop is here and said for me to tell you that he has not met the Crisp fellow, but thinks you awful the way you treated him. So a big apology to Crisp. We are expecting Bud tomorrow for Thanksgiving. I must get a turkey or a chicken, also dust up his room. It really is cold here today, and would like to be in Florida. I saw Mrs. Bowler in Pickendup this afternoon and asked her about Mildred, and all I could get out of her was, "Oh, she is in Wellington, Ontario, or is it Welland?" Dale must have had a nice birthday party. You didn't tell me what you did on your birthday. Had not been there very long then, had you? That was so interesting hearing about the folks listening to and watching the baseball games in shop windows. The world marches on. Really a coincidence seeing that model and knowing her slightly. Really an odd way to earn a living. I wouldn't like it, but then they wouldn't have me. Take care of yourself, dear, and you're a swell kid to write. I still feel sorry for Crisp. I'm playing bridge tonight, so must run. I love you, Mother and Pop. To be continued. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Good luck to you with your efforts in family history. If this interests you, finding, preserving, and sharing old letters, diaries, and photographs, and interviewing elderly relatives while they're alive, you might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History, with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care. And I'll see you next time.